Hi, my name is Sunshine Love, and I'm here to be your new insurance consultant. Hi, it's your girl Sunshine Love, your new insurance consultant. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Insurance Lady Info, and I am here to make sure that I provide to you all the insurance info that I know. For those of you who do not know me, again, my name is Sunshine. I'm located here in Dallas, Texas, and I am a licensed insurance agent. I've been licensed for the last 9 years. I've been doing property and casualty for the last 5 years, and then for the first 4 years, I was doing life and health insurance. And so I'm very well versed on both aspects of insurance when it comes to life and health and when it comes to property and casualty. I've sold everything from life insurance, accident policies, cancer policies, sick policies. I've sold annuities. I've done car insurance, home insurance, boat insurance, motorcycle. I mean, honestly, you name it, I've sold it. It's in my repertoire. But on this channel, what I'm going to focus on is property and casualty because that's really what I specialize in. Like I mentioned, I was an insurance agent. So part of me being an insurance agent is also me doing consulting. So I do not sell insurance anymore. I'm not going to focus on that anymore because where I want to focus on is the consulting side of my agent role. I like to educate my customers to make sure that they have a thorough understanding of their policies and everything that they have purchased. So I kind of noticed that that's just something I'm really good at and something I really love doing. So I decided to go ahead and start up my company, Insurance Lady Info. It is a consulting business. You'll be able to, hire me. You can do a consultation where you can ask me whatever questions you want, and I'll be able to answer those questions through with the allotted time that we have for that. And then, you can also get me to, look at your policy and go over your policy with you and tell you how to manage your policy better. So that way you can save money on your home and auto insurance, because I am very good on helping people save money on their home and auto by simply just going over their policy and telling them what it is that they're missing or what it is they can save on or how they can save or how they can maneuver their policy to make it work best for them. And then also I do have a package where you can hire me for a year, and throughout the year I'm basically your agent. I'm on call for you if you need to make changes to your policy, you want to have questions, or if you need me to walk you through or come sit down with you in your home and we're going to go through this together. Even if you need for me to speak on your behalf, and we'll get into all of those details later, that is something else that I will be offering. I do have a website. It is called insuranceladyinfo.com. Everything about myself and everything about what I offer is on that website. Here on this channel, I'm going to provide you guys with information that you just did not know about insurance. I have a lot of knowledge and I'm eager to just spill it out to you guys and let you guys know, what I'm here for. So I just kind of wanted to just give you a little bit of background as far as what I'm offering you. And, like I said, I've been doing this for 9 years in Texas, in the state of Texas. I have been licensed in about 32 other states. I do know a lot about the other states, but right now we're just going to focus on Texas. If you guys are located in other states like New York, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois, Florida, like that, I do know about other states. I do know about the laws in those states. I do know about what's required in those states in order for you to drive on the road. As far as selling insurance, again, I am not going to sell anybody insurance. That's not what I'm here for. I'm only here for consulting purposes only. So again, don't think I'm trying to sell you an insurance policy, because that's not my role. If you do need an insurance policy, I can help you find the best one for you. That is something that I'll be able to do. but I can't actually sell you the insurance policy. Okay. So I just want to kind of make sure I put that disclaimer out there that I am not selling insurance policies. I am selling my consulting experience to you guys, so that way you can shop around for insurance a lot smarter, know how your policy works for you, and then, you know, be able to overcome some of those obstacles that you guys are running into when it comes to your auto and your auto policy, you know, either canceling or going up, or if your home policy, same thing, if it's canceling or going up, you know, I'll be able to help you get around all of that stuff. So without further ado, on today's lesson, I am going to discuss what auto insurance is. I'm also going to discuss who can buy auto insurance, how to buy auto insurance, and who you need to put on your policy. So for the first few videos that I'm going to be putting out, we're going to focus on auto insurance first, because that is the most dense one. You know, it's also the popular one. Everybody has to have car insurance. You can always live with somebody and not have a home policy, but you're going to have a car. So we're going to focus on that. And a lot of people are looking to save money on their car insurance. We're in a time right now where everything is high, inflation is hitting everything, and insurance is not excluded. So I'm going to be able to provide you guys with tips, with tricks, and some loopholes your agents won't share with you when it comes to lowering your rates. And I'll let you know if it's state specific. If it is not state specific, then I'll let you know that this is for everybody in general. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start with what is auto insurance. So like I mentioned on my last video, if you watched the first video, I told you guys what insurance is. And I said that's when you transfer risk from yourself, the policyholder, to the insurance company, meaning that if something were to happen, you're not going to pay directly out of pocket to get whatever that is repaired if the property is damaged, or pay for your medical payments out of pocket. Usually that is taken care of by the insurance company, because you've been paying your premiums every single month, and they have an agreement to, you know, agree to, if you're going to pay your premiums, they're going to go ahead and take care of everything else. So that is, like, you know, I gave you guys a gist of what insurance is, but I did mention that in my videos, I was going to go into depth about it, because I don't want you guys to be confused. So when it comes to what is auto insurance, I'm going to break that down as to what it is and what it actually consists of, so that way you know how that part works. So when it comes to auto insurance, like I mentioned, you're transferring the risk, right? So you're going to transfer, if something were to happen, meaning if you were in an auto accident, it does not matter who's at fault at this particular moment. You're in an auto accident and you don't have the money to pay for the medical payments and the property damage that's involved in that accident. Well, you've been paying your premiums every single month, so the insurance company should kick in, right? That's how it works. Well, this is the breakdown of that. If you're in an auto accident and it's your fault, right? Yes, your insurance company is going to take care of the other driver's medical payments and property damage. That is called liability, okay? With liability insurance, that means that you are liable for the accident. It's your fault the accident happened. And since you don't want to pay for that other person's medical payments and property damage out of pocket, you have insurance to take care of that, because you've been paying your premiums every single month. So your insurance company has agreed to take care of that person's medical payments and property damage. Now, that does mean your rates are going to go up, but we'll talk about that part later. Right now, I just want to focus on what insurance is pertaining to auto. Now, if you're in an auto accident and it is not your fault, meaning the other person hit you and they hurt you physically and they damaged your property, what you should do, because a lot of people don't do this, what you should do is go after that person's insurance, okay? Their insurance company is supposed to take care of your medical payments and property damage. Now, granted, we do not live in a perfect world, so I do know that a lot of people are driving on this road without insurance. I already know this. This is something, again, I've been selling insurance for a long time. I know a lot of people driving around this road and do not have insurance. Now, there is something on your policy that you can carry to cover you just in case the person who hits you does not have insurance, and that's called uninsured motorist. Now, in that case, when uninsured motorist pays out, then yes, it goes back. It works like liability. It's going to take care of, it's going to work like liability in the sense of that other person. So usually, like I said, if you got hit in an accident, the other person's insurance is supposed to take care of your medical payments and your property damage. But if they don't carry insurance, then your insurance company, and if you're carrying uninsured motorists, your insurance company is going to take care of the medical payments and the property damage. Okay, because you're carrying uninsured motorist bodily injury and uninsured motorist property damage, depending on your state, because some states don't offer uninsured motorist property damage if you're carrying collision. Now, speaking of collision, collision is coverage for your car. Okay, they don't cover anybody's medical payments. That covers your car. So if your car is damaged in an accident where it collides with another vehicle, it collides with state property, it collides like with the light pole, if it overturns, that's collision, right? And if something were to happen and your vehicle is damaged due to a covered loss, where it collides with one of those things, then your collision will pay out. And comprehensive is the opposite of that. Comprehensive means like if you have damage to your vehicle where you hit an animal or a bird, if someone was to key your car, or if it was vandalized, if it was stolen, all of that, windshield damage as well, fire, all of that is covered under the comprehensive. In Texas out here, we have a lot of hailstorms, so hail is also covered under comprehensive. And again, you just pay, what you do is with the comprehensive and the collision, you pay your deductible, which is average $500. A lot of people are using $500, but you can really go as high as you want, as far as up to $2,000, and you can go as low as you want, as far as depending on the coverage. If it's comprehensive, you can go as low as $0. If it's collision, you can go as low as a $50 deductible. But the average that people normally get is a $500 deductible whenever they're shopping around for insurance, meaning you have to pay that $500 out of pocket, and then the insurance will cover the rest. That's usually how comprehensive works. So we discussed liability, that covers the other person if you're at fault. Uninsured motorist, that covers you if the other person is at fault and they don't have insurance. Collision, that covers your car in an event your car collides with something else, like I said, another object, another car. If you hit a ladder in the middle of the road, that is collision. Comprehensive covers damages done to your vehicle that's not collision related. Okay. The next coverage that's usually on your policy when you're shopping, and this is going to be for full coverage, you guys, because a lot of people don't get full coverage. A lot of people get liability, and liability has two different definitions, and we'll go over that in a moment, but we're just going to stick with full coverage. Next, you have medical payments. Now, in most states, well, typically in all states, you have personal injury protection. And then you also have medical payments. Those are two different coverages. But typically the way they work is basically, this one is like a no fault coverage, because it doesn't matter who's at fault. Your medical payments are going to be taken care of up to the limit that you've chosen for your policy. And then last but not least, everybody knows about the towing coverage that you get whenever you are, if your car is stranded, if you need a jump start, if you lost your keys in the car. Even sometimes some insurance companies with their tow coverage, they offer a thing where I forget what it's called, but basically the guy who comes out, he'll do like small maintenance work on your vehicle, so that way you can drive it to the nearest shop. Some companies offer that, not all of them. If you want to know if your company offers that, feel free to ask them, is there a way on your tow policy, does it cover for a small maintenance work on your vehicle? Because that is a plus. Like I mentioned, not all insurance companies offer that service with the tow. And then of course, your car rental coverage, and everybody knows how that works. Well, you know what? Everybody doesn't know how that works. Let me explain that real quick, because I remember when I was working for the different companies that I worked for, a lot of people called and wanted to know the answer to this question. And so let me just break this down. For car rental coverage, you guys, whenever you're renting a car, like if you're renting a car for pleasure, right? That does not go under your insurance. Like, you can't carry that on car rental coverage. That's not what that covers. You know what I'm saying? That's not what that's for. Okay. If you're going to rent a car for pleasure, so if you're traveling and you need a rental car, right? What's going to happen is how it works is that you give them your auto insurance card, right? And that means that they're going to make a copy of it. And just in case something happens to the car, they're going to go after your insurance company. Okay? You don't, car rental coverage on your insurance policy does not cover for pleasure. That's strictly for accidents. So if your car is in a shop due to a covered loss, then you can get a rental car while your car is being fixed because of the covered loss that your insurance company is going to take care of. But if you're traveling and you're going state to state and you are using a rental car, no, the car rental coverage does not cover that. You don't have coverage for that on your insurance, technically. Like I mentioned, you just give the insurance, the car rental place like Enterprise or Hertz or whoever, you give them your ID card so they can make a copy of it, because if something happens to the vehicle, they're going to call your insurance company and basically sue your insurance company. And yes, if something were to happen in their rental car and they call your insurance company, your rates will go up. That does affect your rates. Now, if you choose not to go that route to give them your insurance card, then you are to purchase the insurance from the rental car company. Again, your insurance company does not cover rental cars. Like as far as we don't have a specific coverage for rental cars for pleasure. That rental car coverage is strictly for if you have an accident or if your car is damaged and you take it to the shop and you're getting it fixed because of it's covered by a loss. That is specifically what that is for. So that is, what comes with auto insurance whenever you're shopping around for full coverage. Now, liability, this one, it can go two ways with this one, because in some states, now in New York, this does not apply to you, New York, because you guys don't have this option. Michigan also does not have this option. But like in Texas, Alabama, Florida, man, y'all is so slim. But like, let's just say like for Texas, right? For us, we can get straight liability where you only get bodily injury and property damage for the other car. That's it. Just straight liability, right? Then you can get liability with uninsured motorists. Now, and personal injury protection. The reason why I'm saying that is because now sometimes people will call that liability. When you have liability with personal injury protection and uninsured motorists, a lot of times they'll call that liability as well. The reason why they call that liability here in Texas is because it's mandatory to carry personal injury protection and uninsured motorists. However, if you really do not want to carry that, you can tell the insurance company or the agent that you're working with, I don't want personal injury protection and uninsured motorists. Okay? That means you're rejecting those coverages. And you must sign a form stating that you do not want to carry those coverages. Those forms are always going to be provided to you by the person who you're buying it from. So if you're buying it from an agent, they're going to email you those forms. If you're buying it directly from the insurance company, again, they're going to email you those forms and you have to sign that. If you do not sign that, the underwriting department is going to add it back to your policy and your rates are going to go up, because technically those coverages are mandatory in Texas unless you decide to reject them. That's the only way you can get straight liability in Texas, if you reject the uninsured motorist and the personal injury protection. Otherwise, liability comes with uninsured motorists and personal injury protection. Now, if you're in New York, liability is always uninsured motorists, personal injury protection, and liability. You can never take off personal injury protection, and you can never take off uninsured motorists. It always comes with that. That's just what liability is. Same thing for Michigan. Y'all can't take those coverages off. It's mandatory. It's mandatory in your state. You don't have an option to do a reject. So now in Florida has an option to do a reject because they don't even have to carry bodily injury liability. They're really only required to carry the property damage liability and personal injury protection, and that's really it. But yeah, like I mentioned, if you live in Texas, you have to carry liability, personal injury, and uninsured motorists unless you decide to reject it. Now, if you're getting full coverages, all of that comes with it, including the collision, the comprehensive, the car rental coverage, and the towing, which is also called emergency roadside service, depending on which company you are buying your insurance from. So that's typically how you buy insurance, as far as you need to know what you're going into it, what you want. Most of the time when people are buying new cars, they will go ahead and get a coverage to where it's going to cover everything. So that way, if something were to happen to them, something were to happen to their car, something were to happen to their passengers, they're fully covered. But if you have an older car, like 20-year-old car, like it's 2023 and you're driving a 2003 or even a 2011, like even like almost a 10-year-old car, or over a 10-year-old car, you kind of don't want to carry full coverage on that because of the worth of that vehicle to the insurance company. Like if that car was to total out, you probably not going to get that much money from the insurance company. If that, they'll probably just pay for the damages and then tell you how you free and clear, unless that car is being financed. And I completely understand why you're getting full coverage on it. But if you are, if you have a newer car, then yes, you want to get full coverage on that car because you want to protect your investment. Again, insurance is about protecting your investments, you guys. So a car is an investment. You want to protect your investment. So yes, anytime you get a newer car, I always advise that you get insurance. I don't care if you bought it on the lot and you paid for it in full and you dropped that lot, it's yours, you own it. Still get full coverage on that car. You know what I mean? It's your investment. Still get full coverage on that car. And like I said, if you have a vehicle that's an older car, it would cost you a lot less to get it fixed yourself versus letting the insurance company fix it. Because again, the value of the car to the insurance company, if it's an older car, it won't be worth anything to them. And a lot of times getting a car repaired when it's an older car, I'm gonna be real with you. You can find those parts in a junkyard. So with that being said, 9 out of 10, you can get that car fixed for a whole lot less than you would if you would have filed a claim on it, and then potentially have your rates go up because you filed a claim on your vehicle. So, and this is the type of information that I would usually share with my customers whenever they were shopping around and they was asking me, well, should I get full coverage or should I get liability? Well, we're gonna look at the type of car you have. That's the first thing I look at, is what kind of car you're driving. Because I can tell you right now, if you should get full coverage of liability, and I don't care what insurance company you go to, they all look at that the same. Okay? So you want to make sure that you are aware of what kind of car you have and the value of your car if you're deciding to get full coverage on an older model. Also, sometimes when you're driving and when you're shopping around for auto insurance and you have an older model vehicle, some insurance companies will actually charge you a little bit higher to carry that car because it's older. And the likelihood of them paying out on a claim for that vehicle is higher than them paying out on a claim for a newer model car. So if you ever notice that when you're shopping around for an older car, the rates are higher than it is for a newer car, that's kind of why. And it does depend on the car. Again, that is a case-by-case basis. It's not every older car versus every newer car. That is a case-by-case basis. So I would say the smartest thing to do when you're shopping for car insurance is to shop for car insurance when you're shopping for a car, like at the same time. The reason why I say that is because in all of my time that I have sold insurance, you guys, I have ran into so many people who will purchase a car and then purchase the insurance and then find out that they can't afford the insurance on their car, and then they end up taking that car back. I have seen it happen and heard that happen several times. The best time to shop for insurance is to shop when you're shopping for a car. If you are thinking about getting a car, get a quote on that car so you can see. I guarantee you the monthly premiums is going to be higher than that car payment. I guarantee you. Especially nowadays, the monthly premiums are always going to be higher than that car payment. It is always best to shop for insurance at the same time you're shopping for a car, because you need to know what are you actually going to be paying. Because unless the car lot is janky, there is no car lot that's going to let you drive off the lot without insurance on that car. I don't know one that would let you do that. If they let you do that, they janky. Because you can't drive off of any lot in any state without having insurance before you leave. Now, you don't always have to purchase insurance when you're purchasing a car. Because if you already have insurance, then all you gotta do is just call your insurance company and swap out the vehicles. But if you don't have insurance already and you're shopping for a car, it is always best for you to know which company to go with when you're just shop at the same time. It does not matter if you're calling the company 20 times because you didn't found 20 cars that you like. Call them all 20 times because you need to know what you are about to pay. You don't want to get to the car dealership and then get surprised when you look up and their premium is $400 and your car note is only $150 and you can't afford that premium because you didn't go shopping prior to. That is the best time to shop for car insurance, is when you're shopping for a car. I tell everybody that because you never know what those rates are going to be. Now, as far as who can shop for insurance, that is where it gets tricky, because I done seen some people try to do some stuff and it's like, hey man, I'm not losing my license because you over here trying to be janky. So let me be real with you guys. The person who can shop for insurance is the person who has insurable interest of the car. That's who can shop for it. So what is insurable interest? Insurable interest is when a person has interest in another person or another property, to which if that person or property becomes damaged or harmed, they'll suffer a loss. So in layman's terms, what that means is if you own something, you got insurable interest. If you own a car, you got insurable interest. If you own a house, you have insurable interest. If you are married, you have insurable interest of your husband for life insurance. If you have children, you have insurable interest of your kids because they're your kids. If you have a business partner and if your business partner, y'all are in a relationship to where if they die, your company will suffer a loss, you technically have insurable interest of your business partner. That's what insurable interest is. That means when you have interest in a person or property, to where if that person or property becomes damaged or harmed, you'll suffer a loss from that. So that's what that is. So the person who can shop for auto insurance is a person who has the insurable interest of the vehicle. That means it's the person who owns the car. So I've seen several scenarios where a person has a car that was gifted to them by either a parent or friend or a relative, and they're wanting to get insurance on that car, and they're wanting to leave out the other person who technically owns the car. Well, you can't do that. That's illegal, okay? And I don't know any agent, unless they janky, that's going to write you a policy knowing you don't own that car. Because what can happen is, to the agent, we're going to get in trouble, number one. Number two, your policy going to get canceled, and you probably are going to get banned from that company if you keep doing stuff like that. So you can't do that. The person who owns the car is the person who has insurable interest of that car. So, for instance, if you are a teenager and your parents gifted you a vehicle, and you get insurance on that car, your parents are going to be listed as a registered owner. And you're going to be listed as, then you can be listed as a policyholder. You can be the policyholder, but the person who owns the car has to be on your policy. That is mandatory. Until they sign that car over to you and you have insurable interest, they have insurable interest of that car and they got to be on their policy. That's who shops for it. Now, as far as who can be on your policy, technically everybody in the house. That's what insurance companies want. Everybody in the house on the policy. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why everybody in the house got to be on the policy is because everybody's exposed to the car. Everybody has access to the same keys. Everybody can just get in the car and drive, and anything can happen. And insurance companies know this. Now, you can always tell the insurance company, hey, well, my husband doesn't drive my car, or my kids don't drive my car. You say, we hear this all the time. But then what happens? Somebody had a car accident in that same car you told us they don't have access to. That happens. That happens. So if you live in a house and there's 5 of y'all in there and everybody's 16 and over with an active driver's license, everybody got to be on the policy. Now, there's ways to get around putting everybody on a policy if you want to leave some people off. But I'm going to be honest with you. Flat out honest, because I've seen this happen a lot where people call in and they got mad because their kid got added back to the policy. Their husband got added back to the policy. And they're like, I didn't want them on my policy. Why they on my policy? Well, they live with you. They live with you, and you didn't go through the proper steps to keep them off your policy. So if you don't go through the proper steps of keeping folks off your policy, everybody has to be on there. There is no way around it, because the insurance company is taking on a risk of carrying you. And they know stuff happens. They know folks gonna grab the keys real quick and go to the corner store. They know that corner store trip can lead to a car accident. Now, and you're going to be looking at them like, I'm paying y'all every month. How come y'all not covering them and my son? Or how come you're not covering them and my friend or my husband and whoever? Because that's why they say that. That's why they say everybody got to be on the policy. Now, there's ways, like I said, there's ways around having everybody on that policy. You can do it to where you can leave folks off the policy. But there has to be proof, and you have to have a valid reason why you're leaving them off. For instance, if you are leaving off your child, right? Say, for instance, you have a 16-year-old child and they have a permit or even a driver's license, and you don't want them on your policy because they're not allowed to drive your car and they don't have a car yet. Well, you can exclude them from your policy. Here's the kicker to that, though. If you have a teenager and you have decided to exclude them from your policy, you cannot add them back until they are 21 years old. Okay? So I don't advise you do that. I do not advise that, because lots of times what happens is the teenager ends up getting a car, and because they're not 18, they can't get an insurance policy in their name, so the car has to go on the parent's policy, but you decided up here and excluded them. So you can carry the car, but you can't carry them. And now they're uninsured. What happens? The insurance company can decide to not pay that claim because of misrepresentation. So I don't advise you to exclude your child. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, if something were to happen, you cannot add them back until they're 21. So unfortunately, the best idea when you have a teenager is to just go ahead and add them to your policy. Yes, your rates are going to go up. The reason why your rates are going to go up is because they do not have driving history. That's really what it is. They're 16 years old. They just got their driver's license. They don't have any driving history. And with an insurance company, they need at least 5 years of driving experience. Anytime a person does not have 5 years of driving experience, they are listed as an inexperienced operator. Now, that doesn't only go for 16-year-olds. That's also for adults. If you're an adult and you got your driver's license for the very first time, you're going to also be tagged with that inexperienced operator surcharge for the first 5 years until you get 5 years of driving history. So that's with any insurance company. But it's really popular with teenagers because a lot of times they don't have any driving history in the books, you know. So unfortunately, when you add your teenager, your rates are definitely going to go up because they don't have any driving history. That's why at 21, the rates go down, because at that time, they have 5 years of driving history. That's the reason why your rates go down at 21. So a lot of people was like, oh, well, it's 21 for girls and 25 for boys. No, it's 21 for everybody. That is a myth. That whole 21 for women and 25 for men, that is a myth. It is 21 for everybody. Because again, if you get your license at 16, then 5 years later, you're 21, the rates go down. But that's 5 years in general, though. Like if you get your license at 30, at 35, your rates will go down. That's because you need 5 years of driving history. So that's what that's about when it comes to adding a teenager. But yeah, if you're married, spouse got to be on a policy. Now there's ways to get around that. Like for instance, if your spouse does not live with you, they don't have to be on your policy. If your spouse has their own insurance policy, they don't have to be on your policy. You have to provide proof of both though. You can't just say my spouse don't live with me. You have to actually provide proof to the insurance company that they don't live with you. And the way you provide proof is by giving them a declarations page or giving them a utility bill. But you got to prove that, you know. You can't just call the insurance company and say that, because if you're married, you know, you got to have them on there. They look at you guys as one. If they have another insurance policy, again, you have to provide proof that they have another insurance policy by giving them a declarations page of the auto policy that they have. Again, if you don't provide that proof, they got to be on your policy. Now, if they are disabled, if they don't have a driver's license, those are other ways that they can not be on your policy. If they surrendered their license, that's another way that they cannot be on your policy. But again, you have to have a valid reason. You can't just say, I don't want them, they don't drive my car. I'm sorry, sweetheart. They don't drive my car. It's not a valid reason for them to keep them off your policy. They're going to be on there. Now, they may not be the person listed as the driver of the vehicle, but that they don't drive my car, they don't work. I've had to tell it to so many people. Well, they got their own car. It don't matter. Do they have their own policy? If they don't have their own policy, the insurance company don't care about that. They are exposed to the vehicle. They are exposed to the vehicle. You have to have a valid reason as to why they are not on your policy. If you live in a house with your mother-in-law, she got to be on the policy. You know why she got to be on the policy? Because she's exposed to the vehicle. Anybody who is exposed to the vehicle has to be on your policy. That's who be on your policy. Again, you can exclude people, but you have to have valid reasons as to why you are excluding them. If your reason does not fit, they have to be on a policy. They have to. That is a must. Because if you leave them off and the insurance company finds out that they are on there, they're going to add them. You're going to look up and your rates are going to go up. Everybody is rated. Everybody is rated. Now, of course, there's two different types of ratings. You got a household rating, and then you got the rating where it follows the driver. But that is, determined on which company that you are with. Some companies rate the whole house, and some companies just rate the driver. If you find a company where it just rate the driver on the policy, you still have to add everybody on the house that's in the house, but they're only going to pay attention to the people who are actually driving. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's ways to get around it because you can have everyone listed, but only 2 drivers. But you still have to list who's in the house. Because like, for instance, Liberty Mutual does not play that. They do not play that. With them, you got to list who everybody in the house. Even if they're not driving the car, they got to be listed. They need to know who's exposed to that vehicle. Because something would have happened, they're saying they're going to cover you. So you lying is not going to help you. You trying to, keep information away from them, that's not going to help you. If the insurance company is saying they're going to help you, they're going to cover you, you got to tell them who in the house and who's exposed to the car. So that's who has to be on your policy. I get that question a lot. Well, who can be on my policy? Who lives with you? That's who can be on your policy. If you want to keep them off, that's when we go case by case basis. That's when we go case by case basis, because then I can help you break down. Let me tell you how to get this person off. Let me tell you how to get that person off. I can help you with that part. That's usually what I was doing. My customers will want to leave people off, and I'll help them get around that. Make sure that it works too. Like, I'm not just doing stuff that's illegal or doing things that, you couldn't do. It was just information that was never being, transferred. So I'm here to transfer that information. There's ways to keep people off of your policy, but it has to be a valid reason, and you have to be able to prove it. The proof is very, very easy to get. Very easy to get. It's just a lot of people don't know how to get it, but it's really simple. It's not even what you think. So that is who can shop for insurance, and that's also who has to be on your policy. Now, that went by pretty fast, didn't it? Yes, that is how insurance is, man. You learn so much in so little time, and then it just seems like you're still not learning enough. But I gave you guys some very valuable information. I told you what insurable interest is. I let you know who can shop for insurance, what's included in an insurance policy for auto, when it comes to adding your children, how that can affect you. I also let you know what insurance companies, and I kind of gave you the beginning part of what insurance companies look at when they're looking at insurance as far as giving you rates. I also told you when the best time to shop for insurance. That's a really, really important thing to know, because a lot of people don't know when is the best time to shop around for insurance. So I gave you some very valuable information there. And then, just kind of telling you, I gave you some state specific things as well. When it comes to as far as liability in certain states. But again, you guys, this is just the beginning part. I will definitely make sure I go into deeper detail. And then we'll also get into some specific scenarios that I know that is most common amongst people who I talk to. So I just want to just kind of make sure that you guys understand that just because I stop here does not mean I'm just going to stop. I'm going to keep on giving you information, and you guys are going to be so smart when it comes to shopping around for insurance and managing your policies and getting low rates. You're going to know how to talk to these insurance companies. You're going to know what to ask for. You're going to know all of this stuff, and everything that I teach you is going to help you in the long run, not just with one insurance company, but with all of them. If you decide you don't want to stay with this company, you want to move to the next company, what I'm teaching you, you can use it for the next company, for the next company, and for the next company. Because again, I've worked for almost all these A-listed companies. I can tell you what they're looking for, but I'm making it more general on my show, so that on my channel, so that way, everybody has a different insurance company. If you guys want to get a little bit more specific as far as your particular scenario, then that's when you go to my website, insuranceladyinfo.com, and you can book your consultation, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about your policy, and some you can ask me, specific questions that's related to you and your policy, and I'll be able to help you manage and maintain lower coverage and proper rates. All right, well, if you did like this video, if you liked it, I would love for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom so you can stay up to date on all of the videos that I post when I'm sitting here and I'm educating you guys on this. I would love for you guys to follow me. Make sure that you stay updated on everything. Hit that subscribe button. I also would like for you to leave a comment. Tell me how I'm doing. Tell me what you think. If you want me to discuss something in particular, put it in the comment section. I need you guys to interact with me so I'll know, hey, is this helpful to you? If it's not helpful to you, if you need more help understanding something, let me know, because I can explain it. That's what I'm here for. I'm your insurance consultant. I'm here for you. I created this service specifically for you guys, not for myself, because I know this stuff, but I created this service for you guys because, yes, you can buy insurance, but a lot of times y'all don't know what y'all buying, and I want to make sure you guys know what you're buying and you know how it works. All right, again, thank you for tuning into my channel, Insurance Lady Info. I gave y'all lesson 1 on auto. We're going to go into lesson 2. I'll probably have lesson 2's video out by Monday so I can make sure that I stay, on time for this. So more than likely, I'll be putting videos out Mondays and Fridays. So tune in and just, be up to date on everything by hitting the subscribe button. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.